Hey, before you watch this free video that teaches you how to play by ear, you should check out the bundle that teaches you how to recognize intervals, chord progressions, translates your musical thoughts into playing. It's available this week only. The link is below. Check it out. It's not going to last long, but for now, let's get into today's video. Finally, after a long day at work, you grab your guitar, you pop in a backing track, and you're ready to jam just a little bit, and oh no, you don't know the key, you don't know the scale, you don't have any licks to play. What should we do? Well, it's way easier than you think. It only requires 2 scales. That's where it starts from, and most likely you already know these scales. If not, keep watching. I'll tell you all about it right after this. Hello, my name is David from the Wallaman Guitar Artistry. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world develop their musical personality on the instrument. Today is the second video of the week. Every single day we have a new video talking about playing by ear, playing guitar by ear without many hours behind you of scale theory and all that. No, you just grab your guitar and start playing, and it's easier than you think. It all has to do with your ears. If you have not seen yesterday's video, I recommend that you do so, but I try to make these videos kind of stand alone, so you should be able to follow along very easily. We're gonna work with a couple backing tracks today that you can get for free. You know how it works. Below there's a link that'll take you to a sign-up page, completely free. Sign up once, and you'll get access to the assets of this video and many other videos on the channel. Okay, well, we need to talk a little bit about the distinction between two worlds in music, major and minor. What determines that something is major and something is minor? And when I say something, I mean licks, scales, keys, chords. Any musical element can be put in one of these two boxes, major or minor. Well, it's the third. That's all you need. What is the third? That's an interval. If you don't know, you haven't watched the first part of this series, you should do it, but really quick. An interval is the distance between two notes, and the third interval can be major or minor. If you find a major third within a musical element, well, that is going to be a major thing. Even if all the other intervals are minor, as long as the third is major, it's going to be placed in that major box. If you have a minor interval, a minor third, it's going to be placed in the minor box. Even if all the other intervals are major, as long as the third is minor, minor box. Okay, now, there are tons of scales and chords and options that fit these boxes, right? But most commonly, we're going to focus on a chord. The very first chord that you hear in a chord progression is going to give you a hint as to what to use, a major thing or a minor thing. What does this look like on the instrument? It looks like this. Let me play a chord, a triad, a 3-note chord right here. And I'm using strings 4, 3, 2 on frets 7, 6, and 5. That is a chord, a triad that we hear quite a bit. And it's a major triad because of this interval right here, which is a major third. Dun, dun, dun. Remember the master shape we covered in the first video? That's a major third, right? So we have a 1, that's the magnet that attracts the other notes. This note right here, which is a 3, a major third. And then we have another note, which is a 5th. It doesn't matter. We know that we have a third. This sounds like a major chord. Therefore, we'll pick a major scale to go with that. We'll talk more about that later. Now, to make a major interval minor, we move that third 1 fret below, right here. So, same exact chord, but instead of being frets 7, 6, 5, which is a major chord, we'll have 7, 5, 5, a minor chord. All right, well, that's all you need, really. That's all you need when you're hearing a chord progression, a backing track. For instance, this backing track right here, if we listen to that. Okay, that will fit one of these chords that we played, either a major one or a minor one, okay? Which one? Well, that's where your training comes into the picture, but you can start singing your master shape that we covered in the previous lesson. La da da, 1, 2, 3. If that 3 matches this, then it's a major third. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. As opposed to 1, 2, 3. Oof, that clashes. La matches. So it's a major element, right? Now let's play a little game. I'm going to play a chord progression for you. And let's try this one. And no, you cannot see my guitar. So what if I played something like this? Doesn't sound really good, right? Only missing drums and bass and all that. But what is that? Major or minor? La, da, da. Oh, no, la. It is minor. I was playing that minor triad, 7, 5, 5. Okay, more complex. Ready? What about this one? Major, I know. Okay, well, what about this one? I'm going to change keys on you a little bit. So, here's the other variation. It was major. Major typically sounds a little more uplifting, a little happier, right, than minor, which is a little sadder. What do we do with that info? Well, if you can recognize the first chord of a chord progression, and yes, there are always exceptions, I know, but this is a quick to-go tip to help you play over anything. Well, once you determine if it's major or minor, we're going to talk about scales. And the to-go scale we're going to use is the pentatonic scale. Why? Because within the pentatonic scale, we have 5 notes. Penta means 5. And these 5 notes, which are intervals, are very stable and safe intervals. They're going to work over most things. There are always exceptions, but we're going to consider that exceptions don't exist. So if you hear something like this, major, major pentatonic. If you hear something like this, minor pentatonic. Okay. And you just need to train your ear to do those things. So if you hear something like this, minor, as opposed to major. Okay, what are minor pentatonic scales? What are major pentatonic scales? Again, below is a link for you to sign up and you'll get the charts for free and the scale diagrams. But here it is. These are movable. I'm going to start with the minor one, which you probably are comfortable with already. I'm going to do that in A, low E string, 5th fret. We have 2 notes per string. We have frets 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, and 5, 8. That is a minor pentatonic. It's made of 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. These notes are intervals. In this case, if you want to know, you don't have to, but we have 1, the root, the magnet. This is a minor third. That we know that, right? Because I said it's a minor pentatonic scale. What makes something minor is the third. So we have a root, a minor third. We don't have any seconds. That's okay. You don't have to play it. More on that in a future video. But we have a 1, a minor third, a perfect 4th, a perfect 5th, and a minor 7th. Now 5 notes, and I said these 5 notes are super safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're safe if you're playing over the right chord. If that chord is minor, well, the 1 is always going to work. The minor 3 is going to match the 3rd of the chord. The 4th and the 5th are very stable intervals, as opposed to diminished or augmented. Those are a little tensed. So typically you're going to find a 4th and a 5th. Those are the most commonly used. And also, typically when you hear a minor chord, you can play the next interval, which is a minor 7th of the minor pentatonic. 1, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 7. Typically you're going to play a minor 7th over a minor chord, as opposed to a major 7th, which sounds okay too, but it's just a little more foreign. It's not as commonly used. All right, that's for the minor pentatonic scale. So if you're hearing a backing track, pay attention to that first chord. If you hear a minor chord, go with a minor pentatonic scale and then improvise through the rest. There are other choices, but we'll get into those in future videos. If you hear a major chord at the beginning, so this, ba 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 ba, 1 3 1 3, as opposed to 1 3 1 3, That's a major third. If you hear a major third, you're going to use a major pentatonic scale. How do you do that? Well, trick that you all most likely know. You take your minor pentatonic scale shape in A, and then you move that 1, 2, 3 frets below. The pinky becomes the 1 because we're still in A. Same shape, right? That's just a little trick. Now the intervals are different, right? They're different because remember that the note that we're measuring all the intervals from is still that A note, low E string 5th fret. It's not the first note of your shape. It's this one. So in this case, major pentatonic scale for the scholars who want to know, it's made of a 1, 2, major 3. We know that because we're dealing with a major chord, major pentatonic. Then we have a 5th and a major 6th. Okay? 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. All right, so on this track that we heard, I hear major, therefore I'm going to use a major pentatonic scale. If I'm playing minor pentatonic, ooh, that clashes. Now I should mention something really quick with that clash that you just heard. You heard this note over the major chord. Well, you might say that, hey, that sounded pretty good to me. Well, you know what? It's because you're so used to listening to the blues, and in the blues they do that all the time. They play that minor pentatonic scale over a major chord. That clashes. If Beethoven heard that, he'd hate it. But you like it because you heard that clash of the minor third over the major chord so many times. Right? You heard that clash so many times. And if you pay attention to the blues people that you like, you'll notice that that minor third that they play, it's not quite a minor third. Typically they do a little something to it. They bend it a little bit so that it reaches that major third, or at least suggests it. Right? So all that to say that you now are equipped with the two most important scales, the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic. Your job is to, whenever you pick up a guitar and play over a track, a backing track that you put into your player, is to determine if the first chord is major or minor, and then match the corresponding scale. Now, this is not the most expressive thing you can do, but it will get you started. And in an open jam night, or if you have 10 minutes to play and you don't want to spend 10 minutes figuring out the scale, just use that trick. I included a few backing tracks for you that you can get in the assets of this video. Again, you know how it works. Check it out below. And in tomorrow's video, we're going to go a little further with that classification. We're going to start talking about modes, but it all starts with those pentatonic scales. Minor pentatonic for minor chord, major pentatonic for major chord, and then we're going to expand on that a little bit. And if you're interested in ear training and all that, much more detailed than we could do here, full curriculum of ear training courses, you should definitely check out the other link that is below, because it's going to take you to a very special bundle that we have never done before on the website, where you can get a full-length curriculums on ear training, very practical for guitar players. You should definitely check it out. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you tomorrow with a new video on playing that ear. If you have not yet subscribed, consider doing it. There is a subscribe button below. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. Practice well.